Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wednesday Night Racing here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. And welcome to the SRG F4 Intermediate League here tonight from virtual Oschersleban in Germany. As you can see in the background, it is going to be wet, which is going to add some serious spiciness to the Sim Racer group tonight. Tonight, in the commentary booth, I am Mike Braun. Joining me for the first time tonight is Daniel Hall. Daniel, welcome back to SMB and welcome to the SRG League. I understand you've watched a couple of the broadcasts. So what do you think of these guys and these F4s going around so far?
Yeah, great to be back, Mike. First time calling these F4 cars on here, and they always put on a good show. Low power, but man, they get in there with the draft and all of that. This race is going to be insane. This track really lends itself. There's some tight, twisty technical section, but definitely some long straightaways and going to set up some great passing opportunities. I'm really excited to get this one going.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting race. It's 2.3 miles long and about 17 turns, so it's going to be a fun one. And here is our point standings. Right now in the intermediate one class, you got Alex Velasco out in front with 90 points. Varun Bali in that second spot. Varun had a great run 2 weeks ago at Thruxton, sitting about 12 points back. Then you got Danush Paborji in the third spot. Kalen Michaelwitz in fourth. We'll go over to intermediate two class. Chris Wang pulling it out right now with about a 19-point advantage, a 29-point advantage, over Jose Navas Molina. And then in the third spot, Rafael Cardenas, Kukaran Dillon in fourth, and rounding out that top five in points is Thomas Brashear. And then you've got the solo inter-alien, Stephen Case, all by himself, hoping to get some more add-ons into that class someday. But we are going on into qualifying right now. It's 15-minute open qualifying for these guys. Fixed setup for the F4s as we go on board right now with Ryan Shia trying to get around for his first time by. Daniel, why don't you just I'll take this. I'm sorry. I'll take this first lap around here around this interesting Oschersleban as he goes down the front straightaway into turn one. This is a real tricky left-hander. You got to get some of that curb right there, but because of the rain right now, this is going to cause chaos on these guys. And then this long right-hand turn, the hotel turns 2 and 3 is such a long. You have to really get hard under braking into turn one to set up that turn two. And as you come into turn 4 right here, I will not try to pronounce this German name, but as they come around here, you want to say one thing with the rain, you definitely want to stay off the racing line in some turns. You can see where it's going to be glazed up, but there's a lot of puddling up there as we drop into a really tricky high-speed section, turns 6, 7, 8. They call it the triple, and as you can see how hairy that is. And Ryan just kind of completely misses turn 9, and he's going to reset and try to go back out again. But the typical commentator's curse on a lap around the track. We'll get somebody else around here in a little bit, but you can definitely see how challenging this is as we go back on board. Not quite sure who we've got right now. Oh, there we go. De Silva coming around turn 2 right now. Turn 3, you can see that puddle on that inside line. You definitely want to keep these little F4 tires off that area. And you can see him really working offline, going into the braking zone offline. Goes a little high through here, but that's okay. It's a good, better traction up there. In realistic racing, there's less oil, less rubber, and definitely able to get better traction in there. As he's heading into the triple now, this is where we saw Alex have some problems. And you can see him really sawing the wheel, trying to get in and around into turn 8. And here's a long turn 9. It's a big, long left-hander, Daniel. And he's coming through here. And I know we've done some races through here in GT3s or whatnot, but this is definitely going to be a fun track to get through, even coming through the chicane right now.
Yeah, you're going to see that chicane be full commitment all night, especially in this rain. It's going to be tricky, and it's going to be all about the driver that can keep it smooth here. Now we get onto the long back straightaway. This is going to set up a nice passing opportunity if you're brave enough to send it up the inside here. But it's a quick chicane-type switchback here. Quick right, quick left. Avoid those puddles on the inside. Keep your tires straight. There, you'll see the break of traction here. As he goes into the next corner, the right-hander has to correct. And then this last corner sets you up so nicely for the long front straightaway. critical to get a good run, be smooth out of there, get the power down, don't get too aggressive and spin the wheels. And that completes the lap as he goes P3 on the board. Nice 144.06. That's going to set him up nicely early in this qualifying session.
Yeah, good lap from Tyrone De Silva there. Right now, out on the pole right now, we have Alex Velasco with a 143.5. Chris Eggert had a great run last week, finished second last week at Monza, sitting in the second spot right now. Tyrone sitting in third, Varun Bali in fourth, Jose Navas in the fifth spot right now. So everybody's just trying to get settled in. We're still early, 6 minutes in. A lot of guys are getting those off tracks because of this wet circuit. It's definitely going to cause some chaos for these guys. Going to cause them to be all around, but everybody's starting to just get that groove in right now. As we are about 6 minutes in, 15 minutes of open qualifying right now. So Daniel, we've like I said, we've both run here. These cars are going to be pretty draft heavy down those long straightaways. How do you think these guys need to adjust, because it's going to be wet, and you're not going to be able to get a good solid slingshot out of these cars?
Well, it's all about risk and reward too. When we talk about draft, we're talking about getting the benefit of the air that the car in front pushes out of your way. However, when it's raining, you see the spray coming off those cars. That's a good visualization of the draft. But you cannot see anything if you're tucked up right behind a car. So you'll see drivers usually on a dry track, they'll stay right in there as close as they can, get the full benefit of that draft over the whole straightaway and duck out at the last second, kind of like we saw just there. But with the rain, it's really tricky. You could run up on another car, slower car with issues. Something happens in front of you, and you're in that draft. That first car might be able to avoid it and turn away, and you can just follow straight into the wreck. And I think that's going to be something to watch out for. Are these drivers going to be aggressive in following those other cars, risk having the low visibility of that spray while getting the benefit of the draft?
Yeah, and we all know that far too well if we ran the third session of the Daytona 24 hours a couple weeks ago with how heavy that rain was and that visibility of trying to see when you're tucked in behind somebody. So definitely going to be a challenge for these guys as we have Chris Eggert bettering his time right now. So he went a 143.3. Alex Velasco in that second spot with a 143.5. So your top two have not changed. Tyrone De Silva in that fourth spot. But looking on the board right now, we're still looking for our alien right now. And Stephen Case has still not been able to get a clean lap yet. So he is on track. But as you see, the rain is the great equalizer. They call it that in F1 racing, as you see last year in Brazil, with just the sheer chaos that went on in that F1 race. So I am honestly looking to see that we may have that same kind of chaos tonight here with the Sim Racers group. As we're watching the captain go around right now, Jason Cotcher, the man, the myth, the legend of SRG. Maybe we can get a good lap around him with him and see if we can get a better lap from him. But about 9 minutes down, we still got 6 minutes still left to go. And this is kind of still got quite a few guys that have not had any times in yet, Daniel. How would you, as time is closing in, what would you do as a driver to try to make sure you get that lap in?
There's plenty of time left. We got a minute, just about 2 minutes lap, 2 minute lap time. So you figure about 4 laps maybe. So you're not in crunch time yet. If you haven't set a fast lap, you just need to go out, hit your marks, maybe take it a little easy, take it a little conservative. There is a lot of ground between first and 19th right now that have set a lap. I mean, there's 13 seconds, almost 10 seconds. So they're 13 seconds. So there's a lot of ground in there, and any slight improvement in your starting position is going to help you out. Less spray because there's going to be less cars in front of you, and it's just a matter of playing it maybe a little safe, and then you can go out and hit a fast time to try to move up even more.
Yeah, this is going to probably definitely be one of those races where you do not want a draft buddy. A lot of those last couple races, you definitely want to get tucked in with somebody and drag, get drugged down those straightaways. But as we see car number 9, Ryan Shia, getting spun out, looked like in turn 1 there. So that's going to be probably one of the most pivotal locations, is coming down that front straightaway and into turn 1, because even on the dry, it's such a sketchy turn to carry so much speed, but you're really going to have to back up that braking point probably at least another 100 meters just to get it settled in. As you see, Adam's favorite guy, Diego Posada in the 44, the Lewis Hamilton ride, still hasn't have a clean lap yet. So we've still got 5 people without a clean lap. Stephen Case able to finally get one in to put him in the 5th spot, but he is still a full second behind your pole sitter right now of Chris Eggert. This is Stephen Case, our alien out there, showing the way around right now, looking right, coming around to the backside and down that back straightaway right now. So we'll have to see if he can improve on his time. Looks like Jose Navas with a purple sector right there, how he came across.
Yeah, and you mentioned the great equalizer the rain is, but it's also a great randomizer. Barry, if Case doesn't get out on the pole, we've seen him dominate these last few weeks, and I mean, anything can happen if you're buried in the pack. One mistake by somebody else, even, it can mess with your day. So that's what's going to be a real challenge to these drivers, is avoiding the other people's mistakes while also not making any of your own. We just saw that number 1 card kind of fall off. Now we got Stephen back on with Stephen Case. He's going to finish his lap up here soon. Got a green sector too, so he's improving on his time. We'll see what that looks like when he comes across. But it looks like he might be going quite a bit slower that lap. Yeah, 154 flat, it looks like. So he's going to try to make use of those last 2.5 minutes to put an even better lap time in before this qualifying is over.
Definitely. We still have quite a few guys still without lap times. Hopefully they can get some laps in. But Stephen Case still trying to close that gap, as he's just over a full second behind Chris Eggert. So Eggert still setting the pace right now. Looks like we got Ken Glasser with a green sector there, as he is coming down the front straightaway now. And Ken comes across the line with 150.03. That is his best time. His last lap was actually quite slow. So these rain tires definitely have to get some heat in them. And that first couple laps with these cars is going to be tricky. And Daniel, these are a standing start. So this definitely is going to be an interesting start for these guys trying to get into that turn 1 and second turn.
Yeah, I have not done a ton of standing starts with the new rain feature on iRacing. I know it's been a while, but the GT cars don't start in the from a standstill very often. I normally run, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if I have any tips or tricks to bestow to these guys on how to start them, but man, it's going to be intense trying to get the traction off the line. Like, he just looks like he went wide. He's going to stop and try again because he's not going to have that lap time count, it looks like. But yeah, the rain gonna be a major storyline today.
Oh, absolutely. So we got less than 1 minute left to go for these guys to get that final lap in. And we still have Chris Eggert on the pole with Alex Velasco in second, Tyrone De Silva in third, Varun Bali in fourth, Stephen Case still sitting in that 5th spot. So a pretty good mix-up right now on the leaderboard. Let's see if anybody can improve on these times. It looks like everybody's pretty in the yellow on their times. Serge Metral is all green right now. So Serge coming across, but it looks like he spun coming off that last turn, and that's going to kill his lap time there. So tough break for Serge, as he had not even had a time yet. He was able to get by the line, so maybe he can get a clean last lap in and be able to get a time on the board. But as we are closing in on time, that is time for qualifying, as these guys are going to start coming across the line for their final laps, as Barney is waving that checkered flag. Paul Mirchek with a 143. Looks like it's still going to keep him, or 156.08, put him in that 21st spot. A few other guys all in the yellows. And like I said, this is going to be a challenging race for these guys. The last couple races have been a little on the hectic side. I definitely foresee this race equaling and multiplying of that craziness as we've got the last couple guys finishing up. But yeah, it's going to be fun, I think, Daniel.
Oh, absolutely. And you saw the last couple of guys, Neil Day, Billy Campbell Peach, looked like they had issues on their last lap. We got more cars coming across. Alex Velasco kept it clean, but didn't improve. Just 0.2 of a second off of his lap time. So he was consistent there. On board now with Diego Posada. He is not going to get a lap in. That's going to really hurt his chances. He's going to roll off the field in the 20s. Now on board with Jose Navas. He's coming around that back section, heading onto the back straightaway. Oh, yeah, he just got on it a little too hard there, maybe a little overeager. And that's going to end his qualifying run. I don't know how many more cars there are left to complete a lap. Got Serge Metro coming around to complete his. He is going to pick up a little bit. So 150.3, that's going to put him to 17th. I think that's an improvement over where he was. So last minute movers and shakers right there at the end. On with Aaron Van Wagner now. He is 10th and he goes around too. So chaotic qualifying session, and the intensity is only going to ramp up now that we're going to get some real wheel-to-wheel racing.
Oh, just wait till turn one. That's all I got to say. So qualifying is wrapped up. Let's go ahead and do our grid walk before we get everybody to go. As it is populating now. Production trailer is having to wind it up really tight. That hamster roll is moving. There we go. On the pole, had a great run last week. Christopher Eggert on the pole with that 222 with a 143.328. Alex Velasco will be the outside of the front row. Second row is going to be Tyrone De Silva with Varun Bali in the 4th spot. Then you've got your inter-alien, the fast guy out here, Stephen Case. That should be pretty fun for him starting in that 3rd spot. And your top spot for intermediate 2, Ryan Shia in the car number 9. So he'll be starting in that outside 3rd row. Then you got Joshua Corwin in 4th row. Athan Gushin in the outside the 4th row. Jose Navas in the 9th spot. Aaron Van Wagner 10th. Jason, the Captain Cotcher, in 11th. Daniel Brujak in the 12th spot. Then the 13th is William Campbell Peach. Igor Grunsky outside of him. Tanish Bashir in the 15th spot. Ken Glasser 16th. Serge Metrol 17th. Sayrab Vase in the 18th spot. 19th is Kukaran Dillon. Neil Day in 20th. Rodolfo Samudo in the 21st spot. Paul Merchik 22nd. And then we've got one of the Sim Racer Group rigs in the 23rd spot. 24th is Diego Posada and Kalen Mikowitz in 25th. So we'll have to see how these guys go. We are gridded up, Daniel. This is going to be fun as we switch cameras so we can see everybody getting gridded up. There's your pole sitter, Christopher Eggert. On the outside is Alex Velasco. Technically, this is going to be the inside of turn 1. So he is set back just a little bit. We're waiting for the last couple cars to grid. This is going to be one to watch. 20-minute long race with this Sim Racers group. This is going to be exciting. Here we go. Go ahead, Daniel.
Not a lot of... you don't usually think of a 20-minute race as something you're going to run into traffic, but 8 seconds separates 1st through 20th. So we might see this group start to spread out a little bit, and traffic might play a role in this short sprint race.
Absolutely. Here we go. Lights are going on. They are coming up. 5 lag sound and green flag. Here we go. Racing with the SRG as you see a great jump from the 480 of Tyrone De Silva going down that inside. We've got 4 cars going 3 wide into turn 1. That is a whole gaggle of cars coming into turn 1. Let's see if everybody can get through here. Nice tiptoe into turn 1 and turn 2. So far, no harm, no foul. Everybody's holding their own, doing a great job right now as Alex Velasco leading them around into that short little straightaway into the 4th and 5th turns. Alex Velasco leading him around. Varun Bali up into the second spot. Christopher Eggert in third. Eggert has De Silva right with him, as Chase also with him. This is going to get interesting. Here's that high-speed section, Daniel, that triple, that 6, 7, and 8 section. This is going to be a real tiptoe section for these guys.
Yeah, and until we start getting some space between these cars, it's going to be really hectic, and I don't know if we actually will. You see, still struggling getting the power down, kicking out sideways. Ryan Chia is, and now we're getting into that chicane. Looks like we're going to go back and take a replay on. This is with Ryan Chia. Gets in there. Is he going to just overcook it a little bit? Yep, it just steps out on him. Oh, I think that was Josh Corwin. Hard on the brakes. Absolutely amazing job to get that car slowed down and to avoid that wreck. I can't imagine there was more than a sheet of paper between those cars. It looked like they were really close. As we're going to get an onboard here. Oh, all right. Maybe a little contact, but man, no more worse for the wear. That was some incredible maneuvering to get around that spinning car.
Yeah, that was some close action right there. As you see Velasco leading him around right now with Eggert in second. Chris Eggert had a great race last week, finishing in that second spot, and he is sitting second right now. Tyrone De Silva has had a couple good races as well, sitting in that third spot. But here comes our inter-alien, Stephen Case, in the fourth spot, trying to reel these guys in. And it's already working his way up one spot. And then you've got Anuth Ganesh in the fifth spot, 3 spots up from his starting spot. So he is on a great move right now. Varun Bali in the sixth spot drops down 2 places. As you go back on with Varun right now in that sixth spot, as we jump back to Josh Corwin. Josh with that just immaculate, just amazing dodge.
Oh, he's going to have to make another one.
Oh.
Yep, he
does another bullet.
Yeah, and Ganesh gets sideways. I think that was in the same section. It's that triple apex 6, 7, 8 complex. Yeah, we're gonna ride on board here with Josh Corwin. He sees the car, has a little bit more time to react, but everybody in the car in front, who I can't make out the number on, he also did a great job avoiding that one. So some incredible moves already early in the race just to avoid some spinning cars in front of them.
Yeah, so far everybody's actually doing a lot better than I expected. I expected that first lap to really be sheer chaos, and with a couple other leagues that I've done in the rain, everybody kind of settles down a little bit more in the rain, and they know that it's going to be a little crazy. So we are on right now with Stephen Case. Stephen up into the second spot and on the move right now. He is up 3 spots, but our biggest mover right now is Diego Posada in the 16th spot. He is up 8 spots already. So great start from Diego after probably a very poor qualifying session for him. He is already up into that 16th spot. But Tyrone De Silva, something happened to Tyrone De Silva. Was he the one that spun earlier? That might have been it. He's down into the 21st spot. He's down 18 places. So something definitely happened to Tyrone and dropped him all the way down the field. He was running third at one time. So tough break for Tyrone.
Yeah, it looks like on that replay, the couple cars in front of him checked up, and he just kind of came up on him too quick, and it caused him to go wide. Oh,
Velasco and Steven, that's your leaders.
Yeah, that's your inter-alien driver there, and Stephen Case. He's gonna have some work to do now as he gets back rolling. We'll get a replay here. This is Alex Velasco. We'll see what happens. He was leading the race at this point in time. Is that the triple apex striking again? Yes, it was. Wow, the car must just get so loose there. So he goes wide. And Steven, Steven just got on the exit curb there, pushed out a little wide, and just I think they just were in separate wrecks, but ended up running into each other anyway.
Yeah, that section is definitely, like I mentioned in the roll-up, that section is so brutal in the dry. I cannot imagine what these guys are doing. And there's another car spinner. Oh, this is a replay. This is where Steven loses it on that curb, trying to stay out of the way, but just bashes right into Alex. And so tough break for those guys. But You've now got Varun Bali out in front. We saw Varun at Thruxton really laying it down and putting some good lap times in. And he is in the lead right now. But Alex Velasco is closing that gap already. He is 1.2 seconds back.
As
Yeah,
everyone's just getting really sideways coming out of that.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be, like we said, the equalizer. This is where everybody's really gonna to learn to drive. Then they've really got to get that car craft going on. As we got Diego Posada now up 12 spots in the 12th spot. So he is the mover and shaker right now. That is Adam's guy, the Lewis Hamilton 44, up into the 12th spot. So we'll have to keep an eye on him later on. Stephen Case back in that 5th spot right now, trying to make a pass here, Daniel, on that inside, trying to squeak through these guys. It's going to be tough.
I thought he was going to force it 3 wide through there for a second. He thought better of it, but he's still got the run. He was right behind Josh Corwin, right as we see through that chicane section. Can he get the power down, get the run down this long back straightaway? I don't think he's going to get it through there, but man, look at that visibility. You can barely see anything past the car in front of you. As we see, that car in front goes off. This is going to get hairy. They're 2 wide through there. Oh, he's still sliding. That is Alex Velasco. He was leading at one point. Now he's back in the clutches of Josh Corwin and Steven. Oh, they made contact. They made a little net code contact, I believe. That's going to cost Alex 2 spots as Steven sneaks by him as well.
That's a crazy 3-way battle for these guys right now as they come down the front straightaway.
Look at this battle.
Anytime that there's more than 2 cars together is going to be a just sheer chaos with these guys. As we got the captain, Jason Cotcher, in the 12th spot. Diego Posada getting by him. Oh, it goes a little high coming through there. Jason goes on the inside to take over that spot. So Jason Cotcher trying to work his way up the field, pushes Diego back down a spot. But this could get interesting. This is turns 1 and 2 down here at the end of the front straightaway. This is going to be hard under braking and trying to keep it under control, trying to go down. And Diego dropping back to the 14th spot. Oh, the 24 car spinning around back there. That is Kukaran Dillon dropping back, coming into turn 1. That's going to drop him all the way down to that 19th spot. So, like as we mentioned earlier, that turn 1 and then that triple section. Those are probably the 2 main focal points as we go back, Daniel, as Kukaran just loses it into turn 1.
Yeah, I gotta believe that some of that had to do with him just racing around other cars. You got cars in front going 2 wide. You got to anticipate what they're doing. You're keeping an eye in your mirror as we see another car they're driving by. I think that is Serge Metrol. He's also had some issues. But you gotta pay attention to cars in front. You gotta make sure you're not going to get run over from behind, and just losing concentration on keeping your car planted under you. I think that's what caused that for the most part. I think I saw another car go off right in front of this battle we're looking at. Yep, that was Tyrone. So a couple guys with some issues continuing through this race.
From good to bad to worse. Yeah, good to bad to worse for Tyrone. He's dropped down to the 18th spot now, down 15 spots. So as we go on board with Daniel Bujak in the 36, coming in under braking and just loses it at that apex there. Here comes another Thomas Brashear. Thomas with a winner last week in our AM class, and not having the same spot too. Looks like he's just running it off, but able to keep it going.
I thought he was going to make contact with Jason Cotcher right there, and that was as you see, it was a replay. Oh, we had 3 cars there, all involved in separate incidents, and you get to see them all in one screen. Back to live as we see moves. That is Tyrone Da Silva making a move on Dan Bujak into turn 1. Oh, no. And Igor goes around in front of him. Oh, this race is pandemonium.
And we're only halfway through, Daniel. Halfway through. As we'll run through the field right now, out in front, car number 45 of Varun Bali, leading them around right now. Tucked in that 2nd spot right now is the 222 of Chris Eggert in that 2nd spot. And then back in 3rd spot, we got about 6 seconds back, is the 777 car of Alex Velasco. And then in the 4th spot is our inter alien of Stephen Case. There's Alex Velasco in the 3rd spot. Drop back to 4th now. About 9 seconds behind him is Stephen Case. So everybody's really starting to open up a bit. In the 5th spot, we've got the 037 car of Jason Corwin. Joseph Corwin in the 5th spot. As we'll jump back to the 5th place car here. There we are. Joshua Corwin. And then in the 6th spot, we got Billy Campbell Peach in the 95. Doing a great showing from Billy. He had a rough race last week, but good to see him in that top 6 spot, 7 places up from qualifying. And then we go back to the 7th place of Jose Navas in car number 4 in that 7th spot. And he looks to be about 6 seconds behind Campbell Peach. Then we go about another 3 seconds back to Anuth Ganesh in the 666 car in the 8th spot. In 9th is the captain, Jason Cotcher, doing a good job. He actually jumped up a couple spots since we last saw him, up into the 9th spot. And we've got a battle up front. Eggert all over that back wing right now as they're heading towards the back straightaway. Daniel, you've got Christopher Eggert tucked in behind, trying to get a draft off of him.
Yeah, get the power down. They both didn't struggle too much getting out of that corner. Defensive line early for Bali. I don't think Eggert's going to have the ability to make a move here. He might cross him over. See Bali searching for that grip, finding some different lines, trying to get that working. And he's going to squeeze Eggert just a little bit wide. Oh, Eggert goes off. And can he get back on? Wow, he drove over that curb. That curb is wet and has a ton of puddles. Well done to keep the car on, get it back on track without too much issues. And we'll see if he can charge up for another run here and drop a little bit farther back in the field. Battle for 16th. Oh, Boz gets really loose there. And I think that's going to keep Dillon behind him for now. Yeah, as they go through that chicane onto the back straightaway. Another battle here. Tyrone De Silva putting the pressure on Thomas Brashear. Brashear's just going to let him go. Live to fight another day. As car goes off. Oh, that is Diego Posada, Adam's favorite driver, going wide through there. That's going to leave him right in the clutches of Jose Navas, Tyrone De Silva, and Thomas Brashear, that other battle we were watching, as they head down this long front straightaway. Back to the lead with Varun Bali. He is still holding off Chris Eggert for the lead of this race.
Yeah, that's a great battle up front, but then just a 4-car battle right now for that 9th spot. You got Diego leading the group in the 444. He is up to the 9th spot now. This guy is up 15 places. Adam's going to be screaming and yelling at him in the production booth, man. He is doing a great job. Right behind him is that car number 4 of Jose Navas in the 10th spot. So Tyrone De Silva working his way back up into 11th, going on the outside of Jose to try to take over that spot up into the 10th spot as they come into that tricky triple section right now. And this is going to be really touchy as these guys coming through here, really trying to keep those tires under. But once these tires get warmed up, Daniel, they seem to get just a little bit better bite, and they're just a little bit tighter on these guys to that early section with everybody kind of spinning out. Maybe just the tire temps needed to come up just a little bit more, and you're able to kind of stay squared up.
Yeah, the trick is to keep the tire temps in it, though, as you don't want to go off. Every time you go off, it's going to cool the tires down. Every time you spin out and stop, it's going to let the tires get a little bit cooler, and you need all the heat you can in tricky, wet conditions like this, as this battle for the lead has just not stopped for a couple laps now. Eggert is looking for every single opportunity he can to get by Varun Bali for the lead of this race. As we drop back to 4th now with Stephen Case. He is putting the pressure on Alex Velasco for the final podium spot with about 5 minutes to go. Oh, he goes wide. He's able to keep the car pointed in the right direction, but that is going to make it easy for Stephen Case just to go right around him and pick up that 3rd spot with eyes set, I am sure, on getting to the battle of the leaders now.
Yeah, that's that was a good spot for Steven. So Eggert did get by. So something must have happened to Varun, because Eggert's already got a 5-second advantage now on Varun Baldi. So let's see if something happened to get you off track here as we see Varun leading him around right now and just slips off into the grass into that just terrible triple section as you see another car spinning with him as well. So Varun Baldi goes from first to second in that treacherous triple section. Chris Eggert now taking over the lead with about a 5-second gap back to Varun. But the battle right now is Tyrone Da Silva right behind Thomas Brashear. As you see, Ryan Shia having another problem in that section. That's probably about the third or fourth time I've seen Ryan get sideways through there. That is definitely the hardest section on the track right now, is that triple section. As Tyrone looking on the inside, can't just banging wheels to wheel with Thomas Brashear. And they are just going at it right now. And that Da Silva is your inner 1 class and Brashear is an inner 2. So it's really no battle for those guys as the points are awarded per class. So there really is no advantage to fight with him as Brashear goes off track, trying to keep it and get it back on as he jumps back in front of Ryan Shia. Now, Ryan getting a little wiggle out of the car there, trying to get the power down and get in front of him. And he's able to get in front and hold that line. So good battle for these guys right now as we are closing in on 3 minutes left to go. And right now, your battle for the lead is still Eggert with a 5-second advantage as we go back into Anthony Van Wagner in the 12th spot. Sitting right behind him is Diego Posada. So Diego dropping back a couple spots back into that 13th spot. But Daniel, I think one of the biggest jumps we've got right now is our Inter 2 leader, the 6th place car of William Campbell Peach.
Yeah, he is up 7 spots already in this race. And I say already as we're not 2.5 minutes left, but he's done well and keeping the car on the track. Hopefully there's no jinx. Oh, as he's going to turn the corner and immediately greeted with Corwin sideways on the track in front of him. We'll take a look what happens with Josh Corwin from this onboard with William Campbell Peach, see what he sees as he comes upon that stopped car. He's got this long sweeping right-handed corner, and he luckily seems to be looking ahead because he slowed down a little bit and knew just how to avoid that stopped car as he passes another one. So he's doing his best out here, and looks like he's had a nice clean race, and that's going to really pay dividends for his finish position.
Absolutely. And Billy's doing a great job. And what's kind of nice right now is we were talking earlier about the spray and the rain and just how the visibility works. Billy's got about a 15-second gap to the car in front of him, and he's got like a 4-second gap behind him. So he's kind of in his own little bubble. He's able to kind of keep the track and just do what he wants, not have to fight with anybody. So as you're looking at the track right now, you're still looking at that fight for the 8th and 9th spot between Tyrone Da Silva and Jose Navas. 8th and 9th going at it as we are closing in with 1 minute left to go. 1 minute on the clock for Christopher Eggert as he is going to come down the front straightaway next time by to take the white flag. He is out in front and stretched out to almost a 7-second advantage on Varun Baldi. Stephen Case has been able to work up into the 3rd spot, but he's got a little ways back as Eggert trying to avoid all the chaos going on right now.
Yeah, we saw him pass 2 cars right there off to the side of the road, and that is not what you want to see as you are the leader of a race that is winding down. He is going to take the white flag as he makes his penultimate jaunt down the start-finish straight, as we are now looking at Abdul Ganesh and Diego Posada. Diego having a little bit of issue here, it seems, in the last few laps, keeping that car on the track, but he's still got to be happy with gaining 11 positions from where he started this race in.
Absolutely. He had a tough qualifying session, but as you see, a great battle still going on with Jason Cotcher, the captain, in the 7th spot. Right behind him is Tyrone Da Silva. They are going at it on that last lap. They are coming around, and Tyrone in the 8th spot, trying to find a place, trying to get by Jason. Looks on that inside, does that high-low move, goes on that inside, takes it over. Still fighting. Jason still fighting on that outside as they come around.
Yeah, it looked like he started to lose it on the inside of him there. They're going to go side by side down this front stretch. Let's see what happens into turn one. This should be the last. This will be the last lap for them. They're just starting their last one. So we'll go back to the lead. Christopher Eggert coming around. He is making his way down the long back straightaway. Nobody behind for 9 seconds, so he's going to have plenty of time to just take it easy and keep it going. But these guys are fighting tooth and nail. This is that Tyrone De Silva, Jason Cotcher battle. These guys are right fighting close to the end of this race. As Tyrone's going to get the run, we'll see as they head into that tricky triple apex section, taking the line away from him.
As your leader just crosses the finish line right now. Christopher Eggert taking the win in Inter 1 and the overall, but we're focused back. We are focused back as Jason Cotcher locks it up. That's going to give that space to Tyrone De Silva now, back up into that 7th spot. As you see a whole gaggle of cars coming down the front straightaway right now. Everybody's starting to come across the line, but our good battle's still going on. There is your Inter 2 leader right now. That is William Campbell Peach coming around that last section. Joshua Corrin right behind him as they're coming into that final turn, that final long right-hander. Billy Campbell Peach leading him around down the front straightaway. Is going to take the win. His first win in Inter 2 class. Good run from him.
Yeah, we see a car turn. That was Thomas Brashear. That's going to really put a damper on his race. He lost probably 4 or 5 positions after that incident. Rumble with Ryan Chia. He is chasing down Atul Ganesh for the 11th spot overall. These two drivers not in the same class, though, so we might see some more cordial racing, especially in this tricky conditions. Diego Basada right behind them. He is still up 11 positions from where he started. But we'll see as Ganesh, Shia, and Posada all make their way across the line to finish this one off. Brashear goes off again. Oh, that's going to... I think that was... Oh, Dylan had wrecked somewhere else. That was Dan Buchak. Wow. I think some distraction there from the cars in front going off Thomas Brashear. This is going to be a drag race. It's going to be tight. I think Buchak's going to hold on to it. It's going to put him about 7th in class. So crazy hectic at the end there.
Wow, that was a crazy race for sure. Taking the overall win and your winner in the Inter 1 class, Christopher Eggert. Finishing in that 2nd spot, Varun Bali. And then our Inter Alien, surprising to see him back here in the 3rd spot, Stephen Case. In the 4th spot goes to Alex Velasco. 5th overall, and your Inter 2 winner, William Campbell Peach, laying it down, keeping it clean, doing a great job, finishing in the 5th spot. 6th spot goes to Joshua Corwin with Tyrone De Silva in 7th. Jason Cotcher in 8th. Then you've got Jose Navas in 9th. 10th spot goes to Aaron Van Wagner. Athul Ganesh finishing in 11th. Ryan Shia, the spin-out machine, finishing in the 12th spot. Diego Posada in 13th. Thomas Brashear in 14th. Daniel Bujak finishing in 15th. Kukaran Dillon 16th. Serge Metral in the 17th. Then you got the 18th spot is going to go to Igor. And in the 19th spot, Sayrab Vase. Ken Glasser in 20th, Rodolfo Samudo in 21st, Neil Day 22nd, Paul Mirchek in 23rd, and then we had 2 that did not run. So great run, Daniel. This was pretty fun, and I think we've got a couple interviews to do. Why don't we go ahead and pull in Daniel? Why don't you go ahead and I'll just take him. We'll take Tyrone De Silva first. Let's get him in here. Tyrone De Silva, how are you doing tonight, my friend? You are muted. Tyrone, can you hear me?
All right, we got Atul Ganesh in here instead. Atul, walk us through your race. Those conditions out there look kind of crazy.
Yeah, the second I logged on and saw I was raining, I was like, oh man, not because I had only practiced in the dry before this. So just making it through a race like this is always nice to just see the finish line, because I'm pretty uncomfortable driving in the wet, and yeah, just a lot of chaos.
Yeah, only practicing in the dry and kind of getting sprung the rain on you there. How much does that change your driving line, your approach to the race, kind of everything that goes in when you make that adjustment?
Yeah, I think the line was completely different. The lines are always completely different. I was trying to follow during practice, follow people, what kind of time it's taking, because you hit a curb, especially in this track, it's pretty much spinning out. And I did a few of those spins during the race too. Just the second I touched the curb, it was over. I was spinning, and I had to regroup, and I'm not even finished the race, because I ended up with like 15x. Just a couple more notes, and I'm disqualified.
Yeah, I think we had some technical issues on my end. Catch all that. So I don't know if we're do you have another interview lined up, Adam? Or we'll try to get here without some more technical issues. All right, you got Jason, Mike, if you want to take this one.
All right, Jason, we've dragged you in the mid conversation. Sorry to catch you laughing there, but Jason, what an entertaining race tonight, to say the least. How did your run go tonight?
Well, it's funny with racing in the rain. It reminds me of that scene from The Rock when they've got the VX poison gas and Cage hands it to Connery and says, "The second you don't respect this, it kills you." And that's what it's like driving. I mean, it's so intense because you made it through the last corner, has no bearing on whether or not you make it through the next. When it's raining like that, iRacing does a fantastic job of it, like they do everything else. But I'm a big fanboy, but it rains on this end of the circuit, it's wetter. It dries on that end of the circuit, it's drier. There's absolutely no way to know corner to corner what it's going to feel like, and it really brings the sensitivity and that skill set to the fore for these guys and these drivers, and it's a lot of fun. It's really intense. I mean, my hands are dying. I have to constantly remind myself to like lighten your grip, lighten their tingling, because I've got just the absolute death clamps on the steering wheel. But yeah, it's impressive for these guys to come in without a whole ton of experience prior to just a couple of years ago, and then drive by me like that. I'm both stoked and pissed somehow at the same time.
One of the trickier spots tonight seemed to be in the center of the track, and it was kind of what they call the triple, which is that triple left-hander right off that little short chute in the middle. That seems to be the spot that caught everybody off. Did that catch you at all, or was that kind of like the car get real light for you, or any hard problems in that area?
It is very tricky because in the dry it's basically flat. And when you get triple apexes like that, you try not to be on the line in the rain. You'd rather, I was having a laugh with Adam before the race, before gravel is slick. And when you see compared to your dry grip, right? So when you see gravel, it's like bad news. Well, you get into the rain situation where the track is soaking wet and you got standing water. Now the gravel becomes like sandpaper. So you don't want to be on the traditional line, but when you have a triple apex like that, there is no rain line because it's constantly swinging from outside to inside to outside. So millimeter to millimeter, literally the grip changes, and it's very tricky to try to carry speed through there. Not on the line. I mean, there's no rain line in that set of circumstances. I was off 3 or 4 times. I don't recall if I was off there in the race. I know I was off there in practice. So yeah, totally understandable that that's a tricky part of the circuit. It's fast and it's slick, and it just, the sensitivity has to be superhuman. It really shines light on, brings it home for drivers in iRacing when the real world guys talk about the Sennas and the Verstappens and the Schumachers and the world champions that had the sensitivity to be able to push it right to the edge of adhesion and not over it. Super impressive stuff when you try to do it for real. It's hard. It's really hard.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we got a few more races up coming up in the season. Do you got anything that's got a bullseye on for you? We got Zolder and Brands Hatch. Any of those tracks coming up that you're like, oh yeah, that's me.
Zolder, I've been feeling better about tricky high speed into chicanes. We were joking last season that it was a lot of tiny circuits like Oron North, and this stuff where it was kind of like a soccer match in a phone booth, it just elbows out. This season, the theme seems to be like high speed into slow speed. So Monza, it would have been here if it was dry. Zolder is very similar, very Monza-esque into high speed into slow speed chicanes. And those tend to be confrontational circuits. When damage is on, I tend to shine at those kinds of circuits because I'm a chicken and I drive slow. And the chaos, when there's damage on and a guy tears the corner of the car off, you drive by him while he's sitting on the side of the road, right? But with damage off, it kind of lends itself to be aggressive because if you bounce off a guy, you can just keep going. So it has to be a completely different mindset in a damage off league compared to damage on. It's always fun. I joke about playing video games with my friends, and Adam gets mad at me. But to run simulators with my buddies is always a great time, regardless of circuit. I've given up on being world champion, so when it's a Wednesday night, I know I'm gonna have a good time. But Brands Hatch is always fun, super fast, and without chicanes there, so some dichotomy of circuits. And yeah, we'll see how it stacks up, and then we'll re-rack and send them again for season 2.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, Captain, while you're up here in the booth, why don't you give a shout out or thanks to anybody?
Yeah, I mean, shout out tonight has got to be Billy Campbell Peach, formerly known as William Billy Campbell Peach, but we tried to give the announcers a break there. 0x and Inter 2 win. So not to put a wheel wrong in those conditions is very, very impressive. He also drove around me on the outside, and I don't know if you guys caught that lap 1, so I'm never going to forgive him for that. But yeah, great skill by that guy tonight, and had a really fun battle with Tyrone. I don't know if you guys caught that on the broadcast. I'll look forward to checking that out. But we were wheel to wheel, and it was kind of who's gonna lift first into the first corner. And I squeaked by and thought I got him, but it turns out it wasn't over yet. So congrats to him. He came into the Sim Racers group with very little sim racing experience, ran a season or 2 in house, built his rig at home, and is now a star of Inter 1. So yeah, the whole community. I really appreciate that these guys pay to play, and it's good for everybody. So we're really genuinely enjoying it, and it's possible thanks to them.
Awesome. Well, Jason, congratulations on improving your qualifying spot, finishing in the 8th spot, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you to the whole slow motion broadcast team, Stevie and Adam and Ron and all those guys. Josh, we really appreciate being a part of it, and love watching the broadcasts afterwards at night. Cry when I don't do so well, which seems to be more frequently than I would like. But you guys are awesome. It's been a huge boost. Super fun to be able to send the link to friends and family. It's one thing to tell them about sim racing, but when they see it as a broadcast, the animation and the emotion and the action really makes a show. And it's thanks to you guys. We can play in our closets and our basements and whatever, that's one thing, but to be able to put it out there for everybody to see and enjoy is a whole next level. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate it.
Well, Jason, I don't want to know what you do in your closets, but we'll stay on the sim rigs together, and we enjoy you and we enjoy the show you guys put on. So thank you very much, Jason, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Jason Cotcher, and we'll try one more shot with Tyrone Da Silva. And Daniel, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, Tyrone, got a copy?
Yeah. Can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Just wanted to double check that before we get started. But P7 for you, Tyrone. On the broadcast earlier, we called rain the Great Equal. Is that how you found it out there? It looked like pretty tricky conditions.
Yeah. I think it brings the pack closer together. I mean, I spun early, so I ended up, I think, pretty much last. But since the pack was so close together, I was able to do a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing today.
Yeah, great recovery drive from calling your way back up from the low on the scoring monitor there. But yeah, is that that's something you pride yourself on, bouncing back from a mistake and able to keep going even in a scenario like that?
Yeah, that's something I've definitely like learned. Happens a lot actually. But I mean, in this race, I think I like recovered, almost caught up to Jason, spun, ended up at the back again, and then came back at him towards the end. So a lot of practice doing that today.
That's great, man. Anybody you'd like to thank or shout out here while you got a mic?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jason for organizing all this. It's really a fun thing to do every week that I look forward to, and then also thank you guys at Slow Motion Broadcasting. It broadcast really gives the event a sense of occasion. And also like when I'm talking to friends or family and they ask, what do you do for fun? I can just show them rather than just tell them I play video games or something like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Good luck to you in the rest of the season, and hopefully we can talk to you again soon here.
Yeah, thanks. Look forward to it.
That was Tyrone Da Silva. And Mike, I'll throw it back to you.
That was definitely an entertaining race tonight here from Oschersleban in Germany. There was no missing of any action tonight. Some good movers and shakers. Congrats to Billy Campbell Peach. I did not realize he went 0x. That is impressive with all the stuff that was going on tonight. We will definitely have to get Billy up in here. Daniel, for your first race with the SRG, how do you think this went on?
Oh, these guys put on a great show. That start where everyone got through turn one, no one stalled it or wrecked on getting away from the grid. That was quite impressive, and I was not expecting that. But man, these guys showed just how good they were and how much respect they gave to this rain. And I think it showed on the track. Put on a great show. We had drivers recovering from early incidents. We had drivers that had a little bit of rough qualifying. They were able to rebound and put on a good showing. And man, it had to be a lot of fun out there for these guys.
No, absolutely. And make sure you guys, if you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast, make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button at the bottom. Also, if you enjoyed the racing tonight, make sure you guys check out Sim Racers Group up in Northern California. They've got a brick and mortar store up there with simulators, so you guys can check them out. Probably about over half the league is actually in-house racing in that sim racing group. So make sure you guys check them out if you guys are looking for something fun to do in the NorCal area. So tonight, from the production booth tonight, we had Adam Thompson. Thank you, Adam, for leading us around. And the commentary booth, it was great to have Daniel Hall back. Look forward to seeing you next week. We will see everybody next Wednesday from Zolder.